We've all been there. We feel like we're doing everything right, only to have everything go wrong. I can remember being on the mound, I have the batter 0-2, runner in scoring position, inside fastball. I make my pitch, he breaks his bat. I do everything in my power to get him out, and he flares over the third baseman's head and the run scores. Hey everyone. I'm Jacob Turner, former Major League Baseball player and current co-founder of Moment Private Wealth. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about something that I call the perfect outcome. It's how to take any situation and take everything that's outside of your control and turn a potential 4 out of 10 outcome into a 10 out of 10 outcome. So to understand this, I want to talk through my specific situation. So I need to give you a little bit of context. I was a 9th overall pick in the 2009 draft. So essentially, I was one of the top 10 players in the entire country when it came to baseball that year. Not only that, once I got drafted, I was in the big leagues as a 20-year-old. That essentially never happens. I was destined to become a 10-year big leaguer, maybe multiple all-star teams, become super successful. And the reality was that didn't happen either. But through all that, I still feel like I achieved the perfect outcome when it came to professional sports. So I want to talk to you about 3 actionable things that anybody can do, whether you're a professional athlete, whether you're an entrepreneur, or whether you're working in a business to achieve the perfect outcome. After that, we're going to talk about how I did it in my own life so you can see a specific use case example. So the first thing is you want to make sure you know who's on your bus. What do I mean by that? When I was 18 years old, my dad gave me this little toy bus. And at the time, I thought it was kind of silly. And he said, Jacob, as you continue to have success in life, there's going to be more and more people that want to be on your bus. As you have different successes, your circle starts to grow and there's more people that start to gravitate towards you. But really what you want is you want to make sure that you have people on your bus that are your darkest hour friends. They're the people that are going to be there that if you were on the side of the road and you were changing a tire and you had to call somebody and you called them, you wouldn't even question if they would come. You know they would come. You want to make sure that the people that are on your bus are going to be there not only for those successes, but are going to be there for those inevitable failures. The second thing is you want to make sure that you're the CEO of your own life. So this does not mean that you shouldn't hire professionals and make sure that you have a professional team around you. But for me as an athlete, when I was an 18-year-old kid, what this meant was making sure I was managing the millions of dollars that I just came into. I'm going to let you know a little secret. The only person that cares as much as you about your own life is you. So that means that it needs to be your responsibility. I can remember my parents helping me build this team of people around me, but they also said, Jacob, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to make sure that you're a good steward of this money. And that always stuck with me. And I think it's true for anything we do in our lives. We can't pass the blame on other people. We have to take that responsibility. We have to take that onus. So for me, it was making sure I was managing my money properly. But the other area that I think you can really be the CEO of your own life is in your own career. Okay, so whether you are a business owner, whether you are working inside a business as an entrepreneur, whether you're a professional athlete, there's skills that you can learn, and it takes you going out and saying, hey, what are things that I could do? What are things that I could learn about, whether that's books, podcasts, things I can do in my downtime to make sure that I can start to level up my skill set? Because the reality is, part of the perfect outcome is creating optionality. Much like we talked about, when I threw that 0-2 pitch and everything else was outside of my control and the guy still got a hit, we want to make sure that we create optionality because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Third area is you want to make sure that you use your platform. I think this is something that many people miss. They see the people around them and maybe they interact with them, but they're not really using their platform. So I think you can do this in 2 different ways. One, make sure that you start connect with people, start genuine stories, let them know who you are as a human being. It starts to create this big web of people. You start to meet one person that introduces you to another person that introduces you to another person. And then the second area of that is to make sure that you show your value. Don't just talk about it, but show people what you're really good at. For me, if I'm really good at being a financial advisor, I want to make sure that I'm able to show people how good I am at being a financial advisor. Now, oftentimes you can do this in multiple ways. One, you could do that by helping your close network. 2, you could do that on social media by showing people the different areas of you in your life. And I think as a professional athlete, as an entrepreneur, that doesn't always have to be what your main focus area is. One example I would use is as a professional athlete, there might be other interests that you have, and being able to show that and use your platform that you currently have can create massive optionality in the future. Because again, part of the perfect outcome is we just don't know what's going to happen. So those are the 3 things I want you to think about. 1, you want to make sure you know who's on your bus. 2, you want to be the CEO of your own life. And 3, you want to use your platform. So how did I do all those 3 things to take what is arguably a bottom 20% career outcome I had in baseball and turn it into what I would call the perfect outcome? So the first one, how did I use becoming the CEO of my own life to create the perfect outcome? As an 18-year-old kid, I was really blessed. I signed for $5.5 million. And I used the idea of being the CEO of my own life to say, I want to make sure that I understand what's going on with this money. I want to make sure I understand the people I'm hiring, what are they doing for me and how are they doing it and why are they doing it? So what that looked like was a couple things. I would always come in and ask questions. I would ask every question I could think of because I wanted to make sure I understood it. It didn't mean I had to be be the expert on it, but I wanted to make sure I understood it. At the same time, I was continuing to consume information and learn and try to build skills outside of what I was just doing with baseball. Again, I was trying to take control of my own destiny here. And what that led to was it created massive optionality. When I got done playing baseball, I was in a financial position where I said I could really do whatever I want in this next chapter, in this next stage. I would not have had that same optionality if I didn't take that stance of being my own CEO of my life. The second area is knowing who's on your bus. So how did this help me from baseball, the successes, the failures, to what I'm doing now? When I got done with baseball, I laid all my cards on the table. I remember reaching out to all these people that were on my bus, people that had seen the successes, they had seen the failures, they knew who I was. And I was able to have open, honest conversations and say, I think I want to do this, but I certainly don't have it all figured out. And I would love your advice on what you think I might or maybe should or shouldn't do next. That was massively beneficial for me. It shortcutted the path of me trying multiple things. It probably saved years off my life. And it helped really direct my focus onto something that I felt like I could be really good at moving forward. Not only that, it helped direct my focus towards something that I'm extremely passionate about, helping athletes and entrepreneurs navigate wealth. And all that was because I had all these people that were on my bus the whole time that I knew I could reach out to whenever I was in my lowest moment. I just got done playing baseball. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I had all these people that I knew were in it for the right reasons. They were in it to help me. And that was so beneficial. The last area was using your platform. This is one that I will admittedly say I did not do the best job of while I was playing professional baseball, but I massively turned it around since then. For me, what my platform today looks like is oftentimes on social media. It's a way for me to reach millions of people every single month. And by doing that, I'm able to show what my value is. We talked about how in your platform, you can show the people around you what your value is. You can show them how distinctively human you are, but also on social media, you can do the same thing. And I think one thing that people miss is by doing that, all these people that you aren't able to help personally, but you're able to help in a really small way through some of the stories, some of the experiences that maybe you've had. So I've used these three things to do this. I created massive optionality in my financial life. I realized that I have a bus full of people that are really in it for me. And three, I was able to create a business that's grown to 7 figures in just 2.5 years. And it wasn't because I did anything special. Heck, remember, I had a 4 out of 10 outcome that I turned into a 10 out of 10 outcome. I had a bottom 20% career outcome that I turned into a top 5% financial outcome. I had a really bad stage in professional baseball, but when I think about my transition out of professional baseball, I felt like it's going really well. And ultimately, that was because I used those three things. I knew who was on my bus, I was the CEO of my own life, and I used my platform. And you can do the same thing to create the perfect outcome. Because remember, at the end of the day, a lot of what happens around us is completely outside of your control. And frankly, your focus shouldn't be there. Your focus should be on what's inside of your control. So use these three things to turn a 4 out of 10 outcome into the perfect one. If you like this sort of thing, make sure you like and subscribe. I produce videos every single week, mostly about personal finance and money management, but also about life. If you like this sort of thing, I look forward to seeing you on future videos.